Hi everybody, Russ, the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. If you're new around here, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a bloody good subscribe, why don't you? If you're really excited about yesterday's unconvincing 3-2 victory against Silkeborg, I did the ratings at lunchtime today, so check that out. We've also got Hammer's headlines coming out, which is going to be a bit different today. We're going to do Anton's analysis show. Antonalyze, I'm sort of calling it. That'll be out around sort of 4 or 5, something like that. So check that out, where he goes through, he does his screenshots and he brings, it's very good. I think it's about Cornet as well. Also tonight, if you are a bit bored, say you go to the pub, you come back with your kebab, and you want to listen to some West Ham chat, the return of the Late Late Show is tonight on Friday night with Irish Tommy. Irish Tommy's going to be doing that every Friday night, every week, without fail. There we go. Poor Irish Tommy, but check that out. So that will start tonight. I think it's about 10 o'clock in the UK, so 5 o'clock East Coast. And all the various other things. But here is talk about David Moyes' press conference, an early one today. The team did not fly back from Silkeborg to London last night, which they tend to do in the European games. But as Moyes said, it's because usually we play at 6 o'clock or something like that, and we're back by midnight. It was a bit late, so that was always the plan. So they actually stayed and trained in Denmark before flying back today in preparation for the Everton game. So he had a very early press conference, and as always, we bring to you the headlines, so to speak. The main news is no concerns from last night in terms of injury news. No new injuries. So in essence, it's the same squad. Obviously, Agard and Ben Johnson are still out. So apart from that, no new concerns, which is what we like to hear. And that was basically what I hoped would happen yesterday. We got a win. Maybe it would have been nice, a bit more convincing win, but that wasn't. I think that was third in my. The performance was third in my tier. 1 was the win, 2nd was no injuries, and 3rd was the performance. So I got 2 out of 3. Which ain't too shabby. When asked about squad rotation, obviously we're playing Thursday, Sunday today. He said we'll try our best and use the squad as best we can. Last season, most of the boys played roughly 60 games last season. That does build resilience as well. It does. It also makes people knackered as well, Mr. Moyes. And I think that was one of the major things that happened last year, was the squad being sort of towards the end being very tired, and it makes sense. They're playing 60 games all over Europe as well. But it's good that, and as he said in the West Ham sort of post-match interview on the West Ham official YouTube channel, he did say that actually, we've got a better squad now, so we want to utilise it better, which is what it should be. What it should be, man. In terms of asking about some of the players, Bowen was asked. He was asked talk about Jared, and he said if I wanted to say anything about Jared, there are little bits of him coming back. I think Declan Rice was fantastic at the start of last year off the Euros. We are just beginning to see good signs from Jared, and I agree. I think yesterday probably wasn't his best. I mean, he started off really rubbish at the beginning of the season. Let's be honest, he did, and he's going through the gears. Yesterday he came off the bench. Arguably, gave the ball away, which we didn't arguably. He did give the ball away, which basically led to Silkeborg's 2nd goal. Obviously, he's back in the England squad as well. Myself and Anton and Matt at the review show yesterday spoke about this in a little bit of depth. I was surprised that he got in the squad, but in all honesty, it may push him on because he knows now he's in that squad now. This is the last squad before the World Cup. It's his seat to lose. He's got the seat. If you look at maybe potentially him or maybe Jadon Sancho, one of them potentially, it's now him in the next few weeks, not just on the England duty, but in the Premier League, to show that he deserves that seat. So maybe we might see a resurgent Jarrod Bowen, which we all would like to see. When asked about Cornet, obviously Anton is doing just preluding his Antonalised show, but he talked about Cornet in a lot of detail. I gave him a good rating as well. He said actually his last 3 games he's got assists and a penalty last week too. I think it's probably him getting later back into pre-season, but I think we are still finding our way with him, the best way to use him exactly. If we looked at his goal record at Burnley, it was really good in a short space of time. We've had a great 2.5 years, and I feel this is a big turnaround I've probably had. Is as big of a turnaround I've had at any club. It's a bedding in period for us. We are getting used to him, and he is getting used to us as well. And that's fair enough. I mean, it is fair enough. I mean, as I said, he was a nuisance yesterday, an absolute nuisance not for us, for Silkeborg, and I think we're seeing more and more of him. He makes impact. He does make. He's won 2 penalties. Technically, should have scored a goal, which was a goal. Had a couple of times he should have scored and he missed, but he's getting in those positions, and I think we're seeing the best of him now. What's going to be interesting to see is arguably I think Cornet's stock's rising, and I think Benny's gone a little bit like that. So I'd like them both to be up here, and then there's real competition, but it's almost like one performs better and then the other one drops a little bit. So we'll see what happens against Everton. I'd like to see him start with Paqueta and with Jared Bowen on the right. Moyes was asked about competition for places, that exact reason. He says that's exactly what we're after. We've not had as much in the last couple of years. We've always had a great team spirit and a group that's been committed. I totally agree with that, mate. We've brought in 8 or 9 players, and it's a bit worrying he doesn't know how many players we bought. And we've got to have a little bit of time, but we need to get points in the Premier League. We've shown better signs against Tottenham and Chelsea recently. We've got competition. We need it if we're going to challenge these boys at the top. And that's exactly what I think we've got now. We're getting in a position now, and we'll probably look at it in a bit more depth, maybe over the next couple of weeks, looking at the squad, looking at, the competition for places. And there is apart from maybe that right-hand side, in all honesty, although Cornet can play there, but, apart from that right side in that of the top 3, for example, not as much competition. I suppose you could put Antonio there, but Moyes doesn't tend to do that. But apart from the rest of the pitch, I think there's competition in all places, which is exactly what. But not just like competition, but like people who do as good a job as the person who's got the shirt. Do you know what I mean? So it's competition where you got like not necessarily competition, but like rotation. Like if you had a really good number 1 goalkeeper and an okay number 2 goalkeeper, we've got 2 good number 1 goalkeepers who, if one of them f's up, then the other's ready to go in there. Do you know what I mean? Same as the defenders. Particularly with Agard coming back, it's going to be, it's going to be like a new signing when he comes back in. I think he's going to make a huge impact on West Ham. And also in terms of how that's set up, maybe it means that Kira, for example, goes to the right back. Maybe Moyes sees him as a right back in the future. He plays right back for Germany. He played a lot of right backs positions for PSG. Maybe that's the view. Maybe it was like, well, we can play here until Agard comes back in, and then he can go and play on the right. Who knows? Particularly Soufal, I think his delivery yesterday wasn't particularly good, and he hasn't got really any competition because Ashby's just like disappeared, and Ben Johnson's obviously still injured at the moment. Then he was asked to talk about results. He's all about having competitions, but we need the results. I think we played a really good Tottenham team. We played really well against Chelsea, but we couldn't get that over the line. Things weren't completely against us that day. We need the points, and that is what we are always judged on. But I think performances are improved. At the end of the day, you're totally right, Mr. Moyes. Totally agree. It's points, isn't it? And yesterday we won. Wasn't convincing, but we won, and that was top of the. Then on Sunday, Everton. Win. We need to win against Everton. We do. We need to start getting some points. You look at our form over the last 6 games? I think we've only lost 1 game, and that was to Chelsea, which shouldn't have been we shouldn't have been basically a loss. We know that. They come out and said that it was a mistake. So apart from that, we've won 4 and drawn 1 and lost 1 in all competitions. Of course, not like in the Premier League, because before then we'd lost a few games before. Statistics can prove everything, but I totally agree. We need now. It's the case to kick on, particularly as now we've got the international break, and then October's going to be an absolute. Literally, you're going to be pissed off with. We're on we are on every day. We're on every day anyway. But even October, we've got I think it's 9 games in October. We've got and so we've got double header against Anderlecht as well in between. There's loads of games. So and actually, I think I prefer that for West Ham because when we always have a break, we never play well. So we've got this international break. I guarantee the first game we play, I think it's Wolves at home. That first 45 minutes, we're going to be playing atrocious because we never come back from break well. But then once we get into the rhythm, as long as we're picking up results, that you don't need to. It just breeds a momentum going, and that's what we need. We need momentum. It's been so stop-start with everything that's going on at the moment. So we need to get some momentum, get some games under our belt, and get the players back. And talking about schedule, he said, I think we're beginning to get used to it. I think the players are getting resilient now. I hope through time and experience we are getting better through it. A lot of players who sometimes are not first team choice get the chance of regular football, quick turnarounds, lots of recovery sessions, but I'd rather that than the other. Indeed, and that's what they say. It's Moyes who said yesterday in his post-match conference that we're getting used to, although it's a bind, Thursday, Sundays, you get used to it. And where Saturdays was weird the other day when we played a Saturday game, so it was strange. But we're more used to playing Thursday, Sundays, and that's the way it's going to be. That's the way I hope it's going to be, because we should be playing Thursdays. We should be playing midweeks European games from now on. We're in that position now. So, and I still think if we, beat Anderlecht home and away in October, we pretty much guaranteed to qualify from the group and probably almost win. Because of now obviously Anderlecht they only drew against FCSB yesterday, so we're top of the group, having a laugh. 6th with 6 points rather, and then Anderlecht with 4, FCSB with 1 point, and obviously Silkeborg with 0 points. Moving on to the game at the weekend, obviously you have Everton on Sunday. Asked about Everton, he said they have not had as much money to rebuild as they have in the past. They've brought in Cody and Tukuski, Onana, who we liked as well, as we know. All 3 of them, I believe, we were interested in, but we know Onana particularly was a gentleman that we were very keen on. And then he just put Mopai at the end. I don't think that's the best use of English there. But yeah, they brought in players. They brought in Cody, they brought in Tukuski, they brought in 2 good Premier League centre backs. Onana hasn't had the game time which I think he thought he was going to get. But obviously he's only 20, but he wanted first team football. So but if we had got Onana in, would we have got Paqueta in? I don't think so, and I'd rather have Paqueta, in all honesty. The one I don't like, Neil Mopai. Always bloody scores against us today. But obviously Moyes is going back to his old stomping ground, and he gets asked this question every time we play Everton, particularly at Goodison Park. Asked about Everton, asked about returning. He always says, I hugely enjoy it. It's a massive part of my career. I had 11 and a half years there, which not many managers can say these days, and that's very, very true. Obviously, it must be always poignant. You always, when you go back to your old place, you want to put in a good show. So, good old Davy Moyes. And lastly, he was asked about Mr. Lampard, our big fat Frank. And he says, I'm probably glad he's not a player anymore because he had an incredible scoring record at Chelsea. Frank is building his team and they're going in a different direction. Hopefully that direction is down. But just because it's Frank. But it's true. He was a bloody good player, to be honest. And he'd always, But we'll see. Obviously, team news. We'll be doing the previews and the stat attacks and all that type of stuff. You can pick your 11 as well if you go to the West Ham YouTube channel under the community tab. You can pick who's going to be in goal. You can pick who's going to be. That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. You can pick who's in goal, who's the left back, who's the right back, and we put that all together. I think you were pretty close last time. I need to check it from last game. You were very close to the Chelsea game. I remember that. I think you was 1 point, 1 player out. I think maybe the FSSB as well. But we've got loads of stuff coming out, and obviously the reviews, the watch-alongs, all that type of stuff. Don't miss anything. Hit the subscriber button, hit the bell notifications. You may aware anytime we put new content on. As I said, we've got the Anton's analysis show, Antonalyze. That's what I call it anyway. That's coming out today. We've also got the Late Late Show with Irish Tommy. That's starting this week as well. We'll also have 5 things we've learned from Stiltborg, from Harry. We'll have Stat Attack, all that type of stuff coming up. So make sure you stay with us and watch it all. And that's it, my friends. So take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Stay lucky, stay cheeky, stay positive. Stay warm. It's got a bit nippy in Hornchurch. Put on a coat. Don't turn the heating up yet. We can't afford it. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.